Microphone. I mean, okay. All right. So, okay. All right. So you guys probably can hear us now. We're actually coming through the camera. So this audio might be horrible. We set up a whole projector thing. Can you guys hear us now?
Please let us know, guys. I don't know what is going on with the system. Help us out. Can you hear us?
They can hear us. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're good.
You can hear us. Okay.
All right. So we'll start from scratch.
We'll start over.
Really sorry about that. I'll have to edit it. Sue Hill is here. We noticed all you guys. Jeff Unknown.
We're expanding across the world. We appreciate you, Sue Hill. Yeah. Absolutely.
And Jeff, there's no such thing as jinxing. Okay. None of this is a jinx. Yeah. Even though I have to keep telling myself that we're really excited to see you here pregame. Yes. Jeff, it's been a long pretty much 2.5 days, maybe even a little bit more. And we got my coworker Jay in here. So
we ignore Jay. We don't even. He doesn't even exist during the series. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm hoping Jay calls out sick again because every time the Mavericks lose, Jay calls out sick. So we'll see if Jay shows up to work tomorrow. Now, what we were discussing.
Yes.
Dad, do you want to rephrase your question? Then we could ask them to answer as I answer.
So what's on? Boston. We're used to winning championships, and we can be a little panicky, right?
Yes.
So, if the Celtics do lose tonight, what is your level of concern on a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay. So my answer to that was 6. So right now, my concern is a 2. They bounced back after both pretty bad losses this postseason. The first one against the Heat was a pretty bad loss. It somewhat looked better in the end, but it was pretty bad. And then the game against the Cavaliers was just almost a complete blowout. So that was also a big deal. And they bounced back after that one. So right now, it's a 2. If we lose, it goes up to a 6.
Yeah.
Now, Dad, and everybody else, I'm curious what your kind of 1 to 10 ratio is of concern. But, Dad, what's the answer to your own question?
So I'm going to cheat a little bit. I actually have 2 answers, okay? If the Celtics play really well tonight, but Dallas just has one of those games where they just cannot miss. They're just hitting everything. Prayer shots,
just like last game,
just like everything is going, but the Celtics play well and we barely lose. My concern is a 3.
Yeah.
If we lose tonight and the Celtics look like they did last game, my concern goes up to an 8.
Yeah.
Which is high.
Yeah.
Because it's, we're talking about what is everything that Brown and Tatum have been drilled with. They're great. They're amazing. They're talented. But can they win the big one? And things looked super tight last game. Even Drew Holiday, our champion, who is our steady calming influence, looked tight. So those are my 2 answers. It either goes to a 3 or an 8. Depending on Celtics play amazing, but Dallas just has one of those ridiculous games where we're covering them and they just hit contested 3 after contested 3. My concern's not very high.
But that's that first question. I think it's an important question to ask because that's what everyone's discussing. But at this point, let's focus on the game at hand, and we have history on our side, right? Just like there's history of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, in the finals, us not being able to close out with a 2-1 lead. Now we have history of them closing out series so far. 3 series this playoffs, short series, 4 or 5 games.
We do.
Bouncing back after a loss.
Yep.
And we're going to see, I think, a lot of what, Sue Hill said. First 5 minutes. First 5 minutes are going to be crucial.
Sue Hill, that was my take last game. I said last game, you're going to know within the first 5 minutes if this is going to be a runaway. Dallas just not interested in trying to come back from 3 games down, and it's going to be an absolute blowout and championship celebration, or if it's just going to be a brutal battle where we're going to have to fight our best to win. Sue, I agree. That was my take last game. That's my take this game. If the Celtics come out in the first 5 minutes and they look loose and they look ready and they're hitting shots and they look good, smooth, don't even worry about it. I feel like it's just going to take a freaky fluke night from Dallas hitting crazy contested shots to beat us.
Yeah.
If we look comfortable and ready to go, we're going to win it.
Okay.
If we look super tight and we're clanging everything off the damn back rim in the first 5 minutes, Still not saying we can't battle back.
Yeah.
But then we're going to be sweating it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the full anticipate that this is going to be a tough game. I don't think this is going to be a super blowout. I think either way. I think both teams going to be pretty tight. I think Dallas now has a lot of expectations on themselves. I think people have been putting expectation on them. Like, all the discussion now is them coming back, them doing something that no team has ever done, them doing something to us that we haven't done all season, which is, lose 3 straight games, which would actually make 4 straight. So
yeah,
it's very interesting.
Great point.
But one of the most interesting parts, and this is where we talked about, and it would cut off because the mic wasn't working, but this series has been a series of slight gamesmanship. After the first win against Dallas, Jason Kidd went into his dirty little bag and he brought out the Jaylen Brown's the best player on their team, trying to sow turmoil. And our guys saw right through it. We went on to win the next 2 games. Now the question is, Kristaps Porzingis, after not playing any minutes in Game 4, is according to Mark D'Amico, Joe Mazzulla, quoting this in a press conference, he has no minutes restriction and he is available to play tonight. The question is, how much of that is gamesmanship and how much of that is actual facts?
Is it legit? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And listen, you talk about you hope the old bull is wrong. I hope I see Porzingis out there for 30-plus minutes being a factor. I hope I'm wrong. I just cannot buy this. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Porzingis isn't going to play. I feel like he's going to. But I feel like it's going to be probably 5 to 15 minutes, and it's going to be like he might have his moments, but he's probably going to be looking like he's struggling too. Hopefully the old bull's wrong. I don't know how you go from a rare major injury less than a week ago to not playing in a minute in the last game to no minute restrictions, like he's 100%.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a little bit of, like you said, gamesmanship back from the Celtics after, Jason Kidd's little dirty trick he tried there, separating our 2 stars. So how do you feel about that, Matt?
I mean, Porzingis, I think, is the cheat code. This series is over.
He makes everything unfair.
There's absolutely no, like Jay just said, you were getting everything you wanted when Porzingis was playing game 1. He has the best plus minus out of, I think, any player this series. He's plus 25. He played 2 games.
He
plus 13.
Barely played.
Yeah, plus 13, plus 12. I mean, it's and last game, what absolutely killed us? The rim protection and the rebounding, and that all goes away with Porzingis.
He affects everything.
Absolutely. Completely goes away. So it's gonna be absolutely huge. So I mean, I'm a realist, and I for me, 2 days rest. We've done really well on 2 days rest so far. The last, of course, that last loss for us was on the 1 day rest. Hopefully, Mazzulla, all the guys that got in the lab, this all-star coaching staff that everybody in the league wants a piece of because everyone's poaching our guys.
They are trying.
Has game planned and figured out what went wrong because there was a lot of content out there. A lot of people were talking about the bigs for Dallas, how they were getting down low, and the defense and everything Dallas was doing against us. So it's big. And, I think the reality is Doncic and Kyrie need to keep having amazing games. If Doncic and Kyrie cannot keep this, 30 plus, on a very high efficiency scoring, going, then they're in trouble. And this is why it's big, like my dad said, to keep it close early, because that's when they fall off is in the end. Doncic only really had to play a quarter and a half last game.
Yeah, he didn't really have to play hard.
Yeah. So the question is how long do we make Doncic play basketball? Because if it's a quarter and a half, we're screwed.
And Kyrie is not the only one who played like garbage in Boston the last time they were here for those 2 games.
All of them did.
They're role players. Their role players all played like garbage. So it's very simple. We're back in Boston. As long as the Celtics are not tight, they're going to win the championship. Unless it's a freaky fluke game, kind of like the Heat in Game 2, when they just all these bums are just having the game.
Too.
Every bum is having the game of their life, hitting 3-pointers left and right. Otherwise, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. And the old bull is teasing this. I got a hot take. If the Celtics win, and I'm not the only one to think about, could this be a dynasty? There's a lot of elements to it. But I'm hoping we're celebrating tonight, and I can bring my little hot take of how I feel about the D word and the Celtics.
Yeah.
But we need to finish
We got to
business
finish
tonight.
it first. Got to get this over
Absolutely.
with. And Suhail,
Yes.
Kyrie's got to take a minimum of 18 shots. And I don't know if he did that, Suhail. That's a really good point. I wonder if he did that in either of the first 2 games in Boston.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Kyrie made a lot of headlines today coming back to Boston, which is a great news for me because that means he is thinking about it.
That dude cannot
This is
help
top
himself.
of mind. And now whether you agree with what he said, disagree with what he said, whatever side you're on, if I'm a Mavericks fan, I'm like, oh no, Kyrie, why do you have to keep talking about it? Why can't you just move on? And you know what's funny is Kyrie said that we act like a crazy ex-girlfriend. No, Kyrie, you're the crazy ex-girlfriend in this relationship, man. Because I can tell you, I don't really think about you.
We don't miss you. None of us miss you.
Don't miss you, and I don't really. How often do you really think about him, Dad, between games?
Never, until he shows up.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh, this clown. Yeah, no, and it's just Kyrie. Thank you. He clearly we're still in his head, and after him opening his, calling us a cult, we kind of are. We're kind of like a crazy sick cult. It's supposed to be an insult, but I'll take that as a compliment because we take our sports, our Boston sports, that seriously. And, thank you, Kyrie. So hopefully this lights more motivation, more fire under us. And, yeah.
Yeah. And I think you're right. It can be a Tatum game, guys. I really hope Tatum it's finish at the rim, Tatum. Finish at the rim.
Yeah.
You're not going to get calls. Finish at the rim. And Jay, I agree with him. Great, Jay. So Jay is a Dallas Mavericks fan. Jay, how do you feel about Kyrie talking so much about Boston? Do you not care? Do you think that he's going to play like he did in Game 1 and Game 2 in Boston?
Jay, if I was you, I'd be mad about it. I'd be like, just dude, stop lighting fires under the other team. Just be like, I addressed it. I have talked about it. I'm not answering any more Boston questions. Just be like. But no, he just keeps throwing motivation at our fans, at our players who do love this city. Jaylen Brown clearly loves Boston. Tatum says he does.
Yep.
And I don't think he's as passionate as Brown. But go ahead, keep lighting fires under the fans and the players who actually love it here. If I were you, Jay, I would not like my player doing that. I just wouldn't in this regard. So,
what a player! Awesome, generational talent with his handles and everything for Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
But a man that is filled with stupid decisions, sadly, and he's a pseudo intellectual, and that's I think the best way to describe Kyrie. I really don't care, Kyrie, what you do or how you feel, but it's pretty crazy how much he cares about us because all he does is talk about us. And when they won the Western Conference Finals, he was asked about this. He's like, I just want to have fun and play with my teammates, whatever. But it slowly started to unravel, right?
It didn't last long.
The diarrhea of the mouth started to come out, know. And Jay says, I don't care, honestly, as long as he plays well. But Jay, he hasn't played well in Boston, right? So, hey, we'll see.
We're going for 14 straight losses tonight.
Yeah.
For Kyrie.
In Boston? Yeah.
Celtics win the championship tonight. 14 straight losses in Boston for Kyrie. That's not a coincidence. Yeah. So, Boston fans, keep it clean.
Yes.
Be
Kyrie
classy.
Sucks.
Be on him.
Yep.
Boo him.
Tell him he sucks.
Don't go any further than that.
Have class.
And, we've proven we can't get in his head. Yeah. So, it should be a fun night. Yeah. Absolutely.
Derek Jones Jr., PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Lively. Go nuts, guys. Yes. Drive these guys crazy. We got Zach Zarba. Zach Zarba, he's an interesting referee. And one of the things I will tell you is he does not like to be a part of a shutout game or a blowout game. So if it starts to go either way, very much look for him to give calls to the other team to make it tight. Zach Zarba is
what
a
is
diva.
The scout? I don't know the rest. What's the scouting report on the rest? Give us a quick scouting report, Matt.
So
you have one?
I don't have an overall record for either, but we did win our first game with Zach Zarba this series. That was game 1. But the thing that everyone needs to watch out for is, again, he is a diva, and he likes the spotlight. So it's very rare that you see a Zarba shutout, blowout game. Suhail, let's go, guys. I know we're about to leave.
Yeah.
Ramona.
Top 5 fan just chimed in.
Put a cherry on top, Ramona. I haven't watched any TV, listened to any radio about this game. This is the first thing I'm listening to. I got to say, this is where we are meeting.
I just love Ramona.
Banner 18 on the way. Ramona, and that's the same thing. You got to detox from all the garbage because there's going to be a lot. These layoffs between games, that's it. This is it right here. Yeah. Settle it on the court. This is what we're here for, Ramona. Anything else between is just noise.
We give you the truth. These other outlets, they do have to spice things up. We don't have to do that. We can just give it to you straight. So I get it. It's frustrating listening to the national media outlets, even Felger and Maz. Like, it's like they have to keep it spicy and interesting. No, I mean, we're boring and we lose you. It stinks, but we're going to give it to you straight how we really feel.
We're not going to try and rage bait or kick people. Like,
exactly.
Make anything crazy. So, look
at all right, Jay Young. We got to get out of here. You're jumping on the Jason Kidd bandwagon.
Yeah, he's trying to gain
We're not feeding into you. Okay,
Jay, I'll talk to you later or tomorrow at work, buddy. Thanks, everybody. We're gonna go watch it. Go Seas.
Hopefully you're tuning in, and we're all celebrating later.